guys, and welcome to another episode of The Link Up. Today we're going to be speaking to Andy Gray. Andy runs a successful automotive business in Japan, powervehicles.com, and he's 4 times Formula Drift Japan champion. So, Andy, you're there in Ibiza in Japan, obviously. How long have you lived in Japan, not your native country? So let's go back to the beginning of your drift career and tell us, how long have you been there for?
15 years now, since about 2005. And before that, I was coming to Japan to buy cars maybe 4 or 5 times. So yeah, I've been involved in buying cars out of Japan for 15, 18 years. Yeah, it's been a while.
So is it that involvement in the car scene that inspired your move to Japan?
Definitely, yeah. Just we were buying cars from Japan and selling them locally in Scotland, and then I thought, why not just go to the source, and then the whole world becomes your market. And back then there was so many cars. It was even then it was probably the tail end of it. It was past the real glory years. Some of my friends that were exporting cars before then were doing massive volume and huge choice. But we still got there in sort of mid 2000s, so we got a lot of the really good golden times. Very different from what it's like now. You know, all these cars have suddenly become classic cars and put in bubbles and not to be used sort of thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, that does. It sounds awesome, and I'm really interested to speak a bit more about your business. But let's speak about the elephant in the room first. Obviously, your new Lexus Drift car build. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what inspired that idea?
Yeah, I mean, we've been drifting JZXs pretty much from the start of my drift career. I went through a couple of different cars, 180 SXs, RX-7s, and then once I settled on the JZX, that's been me for, I think we've been competing for over 10 years. We've done everything really cool with them. I've made both a Chaser and a Mark II, very similar body shapes on the same chassis. We won the championship with the Chaser first, and then the next challenge was the car we used in the USA briefly. We brought that back. And managed to get the championship. First of all, won, of course, to break the duck, and then we went on to get the championship with that car. So I felt we'd done all we could. I just wanted to sort of have a new challenge as far as the car goes, you know, push myself and also take the car to a sort of different market, a different fan base. The guys like myself, a bit older, know the JZXs, know what they are. They're legendary cars, but a lot of people don't know what they are. Whereas a Lexus RC, their dad might drive one. It might be his business car. You can get them in the showroom. So yeah, I just wanted to appeal to a sort of younger audience, different audience than what we had done up till now.
Yeah, and I think you've done a pretty good job of that, especially taking the win not long ago at round 2 of the Formula Drift Japan Championship. So how's things looking for the season? Are you hopeful of taking another championship this year in the new car?
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, that's always, we don't sort of just make the car just to compete. We want to come out on top. And after round 1, we knew it was a bit of an uphill battle. But between round 1 and round 2, we're lucky, obviously, I'm in the VC circuit. We can test a lot. And we spoke to my parts suppliers, my team. We all looked at what the problems were. And we worked through them, and through a lot of testing and development and a lot of modifications to the car between round 1 and round 2. The car was a completely different animal in round 2. We had more power, more response, much better handling, different suspension, different knuckles. So it was completely new. And I knew this was going to be a real test for the car, because my car is probably the largest, nearly 2.1 metre wide. I can barely get through the chicane at the start, and it's about just shy of 1,400 kgs without me in it. So it's a big, heavy car. And going to the street course track Okabuki was going to be the ultimate challenge, because it is so tight. It's not suited to my car. So yeah, for us to get the win was just amazing. You know, we never felt like, we're going to go out and dominate this weekend. It was a big test. I was just overjoyed when we actually got on the podium for the number 1 spot.
It sounds like you've been pretty hands-on with that project. How many, what's the team of people around you who helped build that car and put it together during the off-season?
I've got a great group of guys that we've sort of met and bonded with over the years, and I bring guys in occasionally from even the States, guys I've worked with from the Pro Series over there and who are working with other top teams just now. They've been over to help. Andy Seehausen, shout out to him. He's come over and done some of the fabrication work. And then over most of the winter, the biggest lot of the prep and getting the body into shape was done by one of my staff members, who's actually a Kiwi, a fellow Kiwi yourself, Jono. Shout out to him, Jono Smith. But he's a wizard with the fabrication, with the carbon fibre. I mean, there's bespoke grille in carbon fibre. The side rear window pods are made out of carbon fibre. These are all parts handmade in our little top shop up here in Ibisu Circuit. So yeah, having these guys working on it. Of course, my usual regular team. I've got JT, another guy from New Zealand. A few of the OG drifters will know him. And my main pit crew is James, my crew chief. He's the wizard that helps coordinate the whole team, coordinate with my part suppliers, and does all the wiring himself. So we're a real one-stop shop. The engine comes from Tomei direct, it's their engine, but everything else, the paint, the welding, the wiring, every nut and bolt's done here at Ibisu Circuit. So it's great to be able to produce such a world-class car with such a great finish and carbon parts and everything else in our little shop in Ibisu. So.
In terms of power, how much does that Tomei engine put out?
Well, we never actually dyno the cars, we tune on the circuit. But we're actually probably at the limit because my tuner's starting to have a heart attack every time he has to tune the car. Because, I mean, it won't drive straight. In fourth gear with huge tyres, it still snaps sideways when it wants to. So, yeah, we are actually looking at Dynapacks just now so we can get some figures. But certainly I would think over 1,000 horsepower at the wheel just now. 3.6 litre displacement, massive Garrett turbo, G-Series turbo. Running ethanol, race ethanol, so and over 2 bar of boost. So maybe some of the Dynapack guys out there can tell us what sort of figure that should be. But certainly, yeah, we've ran a similar setup before on roller dynos, and it's been slipping on the dyno. So, and that's at about 870, 900 horsepower.
Which Link ECU are you running? We know that we've chosen to run Link ECU over the years. So which one have you chosen for this project?
I think we're on a Fury right now. I need to double check with James which one we're on this car. We have used the Kurofune. That's what actually brought you guys to our attention, because we've been using HKS FCOM V Pros for forever. It's like the staple here. And when we heard that you guys had produced this standalone, a subcomputer that you plug into the same harness as the V Pros, and you've got way more functions than what we're used to. That's why we jumped on board. So we were using them for a long time, but now we like to just not use a sub harness, just because obviously the complexity of the wiring and more things to go wrong, and we use your standalone ECUs.
And so your tuner who helps, it's interesting to hear that you haven't had it dyno tuned. That's definitely unique for this side of the world anyway. Does your tuner come to every Formula Drift event with you?
I'm really lucky to be able to take a tuner every round. I know a lot of other guys couldn't do it, couldn't afford it or couldn't do it. So I'm in a really lucky position where Oki from Tex Modify is there every single round, every lap. And even when we're testing, he'll check all the data. So you just got to stay on top of it. A problem can develop so fast and destroy your motor in seconds. So yeah, check.
We probably should move on from the Lexus, but I just want to ask one last question. How does it compare to the other cars that you've driven over the years?
That was always the aim, you know. The JZX is so good. To expect it to be like, much better than the JZX straight off the bat, it's pretty much impossible. You know, you've got 15 years of development. Yeah. Guys like Daigo Saito and Shinji Minoa and Robbie Nishida had all contributed to developing the chassis. So it was like a world beater, as all the records prove around the world with them. So yeah, my aim was just to get as close as possible. Even the interior paint, the feel of the dash, the carbon roof, the seating position, I wanted everything to make it feel like my usual office, because the amount of Ks I've done in those JZXs. And yeah, now it's feeling like, I always say it's feeling more like a JZX every day. The power is the same, of course, but the chassis is 25 years different. You know, the rear subframe, the rear suspension setup, front, everything's totally different. The rack position, the oil pan position, all is reversed to the JZX. So it was never going to feel the same. But yeah, I'm really happy. We work closely with Figs Engineering, an American company that do amazing lock kits. I think we had one of the prototype kits. There's not many, I think maybe 2 or 3 in the whole world. And we worked with him to develop a feel that I like, using the components that we're used to, such as Toyota steering racks, etc. So yeah, it's been a great joint effort between everyone, but I love the way it feels now. And we're just tinkering. We're changing seat position slightly and handbrake position, just little things. Yeah, we got it pretty dialed, and I look forward to just finding little more small advantages here and there throughout the season, hopefully.
Yeah, and of course, getting some more competition in it. For our English viewers, like myself, in fact, could you tell us a little bit about what Formula Drift Japan is like? We know that you've competed in America and, of course, in Australia and overseas. So could you tell us give us a little insight as to what it's like competing in Japan?
It's an awesome series. Compared to the other big series in Japan, it's much easier to understand. It's much more appealing as a driver because I'm all about the tracks. If the tracks aren't exciting for me, I don't want to do it. I don't want to drift around a car park. I only want to drift on big race circuits, you know. The street course that we just done at Okabuki is the one exception, but I mean it's exciting and scary and gnarly because of how narrow it is and bumpy and going across a bridge and huge drop-offs. So although it's not my favourite track, it's still an exciting track. You know, the entry's exciting. It's a very fluid track. So yeah, FD Japan, the courses make it for me. The team that run it, the judging's all very easy to understand. It's very well produced, but to get to go on Okayama, to get to go on Fuji in previous seasons, now Sugo circuit, these are international circuits. These are like fourth gear. For us, it's the pinnacle of drifting, you know, top level drifting. You should be on tracks that test you. It shouldn't just be a small track, it doesn't test you. It should, the track, the driver, the car should all be a separation point. It shouldn't just be easy, any part of that. So we run high power cars with loads of grip on big ass tracks. And it's the whole combination for me makes it very exciting. So yeah, I love it. It's an honour to get to drive. No one else gets to drift on these circuits, you know. They don't open up Sugo and say, "Oh, just go and drift on it." It just doesn't happen. So I feel very privileged to get to go on these tracks. I've watched racing. Every race fan's watched Sugo and GT cars and F1 cars and Fuji, etc. So it's really cool to get on these courses. I love it.
Yeah, that is really, really neat and really interesting insight there because, yeah, as you say, a lot of drifting nowadays happens, you know, in the infield or in almost a car park. So, yeah, very unique being able to compete on such prestigious circuits. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and the fact that probably not this year so much with COVID having such an impact, but you give foreigners, I guess you'd call them, the opportunity to drift in Japan?
For sure. I mean, going back to the whole, this year is very tough. We don't have any foreigners coming in, and it's the same with the FD Japan series. That's a large part of our business is supporting my teammates from Singapore, Nian and Ben. These guys come over, and that really makes the series too, the international flavour. You know, this year's a tough one, the same as from the business point of view, not having the overseas guys coming. But I think if we can all just get through this and everyone survive, we should be okay for next year. But yeah, as far as the company goes, that is our main, or one of our main things we used to do was support all foreign drivers that want to drift in the Ibisu. We were a one-stop shop. We'd sell them a car, tyres, prepare the cars, do all that. So they just fly in, drive and go basically. And we don't have that side of the business just now, but luckily we're still doing a lot of vehicle sales, tuning, car development, and I source a lot of really exciting special stuff that doesn't really go online for special clients. So I'm really lucky going to see some cars that are just mind-blowing to ship to lucky owners overseas. So yeah, we're always really busy. Just hopefully things will open up next year and we'll get the Matsuri side of the business back again.
Yeah, definitely. And is shipping occurring like normal for you? You're able to get those cars across the world without a problem?
It's never been an issue for us. I did warn guys when they're receiving the cars, you might have like ports that are on lockdown and there might be some hold-ups, but I've never really heard of any problems. So shipping documents has actually been harder than the cars. A lot of services have been down, but I just think we're all really lucky, probably yourself included, with the fact that the car trade hasn't been hit that hard, I would like to say. You know, the tuning industry, I think we've dodged a bullet, but I do feel sorry for all my customers and guys out there. It must be really struggling, so hopefully everyone keep your chin up and get through it, and we'll all be drifting again soon.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that you get to see some pretty cool street cars in particular come through there. Do you have a cool street car yourself, or otherwise a dream car?
Yeah, I mean, I used to always give the V8s loads of abuse, and then I looked around outside my shop and I've got like 4 V8s at one stage. So yeah, my street car, my daily is a big Land Cruiser because I love the big comfortable family car and the luxury. So I've got a nice Land Cruiser, which of course got 24-inch black rims and Brembo brakes and wild body kit because you just can't help yourself, it's Japan. I have a C63, last of the V8 NAs, W204, of course wide body and tuned and chipped and parts from Germany, and it's black as well. But we try and feature our sponsor wheels, of course. So we've got Volk Racing matte blue TE37s on this black car, so that's kind of cool. So my wife kind of claimed that one. She steals that one a lot. My little boy loves the straight titanium exhaust. He sits in the back going broom, 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 broom. So what else have we got? And yeah, I've always got a few GTRs and stuff around, whether myself or my good clients that we use. There's always a few nice GTRs in the shop and Supras and all the nice stuff. But they'd be my main cars just now.
No, all good. Well, thanks very much for your time, Andy. We better let you get back to work. But want to wish you a massive good luck from everyone here at Link for the rest of the season. We've enjoyed seeing you compete the first couple of rounds this season, and I'm sure there's more success to come. So, yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, just thanks heaps for the support from you guys. I love representing the brand. We've totally switched over to your ECUs. We don't install any other ECU in any of our cars. You guys do a drop-in for a JZX100. I mean, we are like Mr. JZX100. There's 2 or 3 in the workshop sitting outside just now. So yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are so heavily involved in the sport and supporting drifting throughout the world. So I'm very happy to be part of the team.
No, awesome, thanks. We're happy to be part of it too. So yeah, we'll definitely follow you along for the rest of the season, and good luck.
Thank you very much.